deck that has been absolutely dominating Modern all weekend long. We're going to get ready to watch it in action one more time here this weekend, and who knows, we could have a Hogak mirror here in the finals. Dominic Harvey is going to try to make that not be the case. Maybe we'll have Tron win both major tournaments this weekend. Who knows? I do think Tron, I was a little surprised coming into it, but I think your points are pretty important here. That, well, one, card on the play is good against everybody, and two, Wurmcoil Engine is a great stopper against this deck.
Yeah, I mean, it can pretty easily overpower any draw not involving Hogak, and I think even some of the ones involving Hogak are not going to be better than a Wurmcoil. And if you can buy time to get to Ugin, Ugin's extremely good.
Both these players are going to take a look at their opening hands, and Dominic Harvey is going to send it back right away. He is not interested in that opening hand at all. However, with the London Mulligan and how Tron does operate, mulliganing is not a big deal at all for this strategy. I think you can maybe even say the same for Hogak as well. And Hafner is kind of taking a longer look at his hand and what he's going to be up to. So in a moment, these players will be given the green light and we'll be underway here soon enough. But both players doing a nice job of making a name for themselves here on the SCG Tour this weekend. I know Dom is hell-bent on qualifying for the Players' Championship at the end of the year, and I'd be very surprised not to see him here after another strong finish here this weekend in Columbus.
Looks like Hafner starting off on 5 cards.
That means that Dom might be near the same. He doesn't look thrilled. He does not look thrilled. We might have a game with players not have very many cards to begin. Chris is on 5 and Dom is on a mulligan to 4.
I think, sort of more noteworthy than any of the particulars of the metagame shifts is that a lot of the top performing decks, I think, leverage the London Mulligan much better than the ones that you do not see in the top 8.
I think I would agree with that.
It is a game changer for a couple of archetypes. And, Tron, probably the top of the list. And any sort of graveyard-centered deck that needs an enabler and some payoffs, that's going to play very well in that kind of ecosystem, too.
Well, I've seen worse starts in Urza's Mine and Expedition map. A Blood Crypt here for Chris Hafner is going to bring him down to 18. Let's make it 17, actually. And now it'll be a Faithless Looting. So looting will resolve here in just a moment, and Hafner will draw 2 and discard 2. Vengevine is 1, Bloodghast is 2. The graveyard is where those cards like to be. Dom will draw a card. Does he have land number 2? Well, not a bad,
about the best opening that you can ask for here for Harvey.
Yeah.
Natural Tron, ready to go on the 3rd turn, along with Relic of Progenitors to break up Hafner's graveyard.
Now, do you blow up the Relic right now and remove the graveyard, or do you just kind of wait and try to pick your spots is the question?
I mean, my instinct is just to do it here because if Hafner plays a fetch, it depends. Are you okay with the Bloodghast coming back? Because if not, then your hand's going to be forced if Hafner plays a fetch land.
Insolent Neonate will be sacrificed. Satyr Wayfinder to the discard. Nothing too bad happens there for Harvey. Harvey's going to activate Relic on the end step. There goes the Polluted Delta. Will head back Dom's way, so he's going to be patient with the Relic. The map will be sacrificed. I think we're going to see an Urza's power plant here in just a moment to complete Tron and Relic still at the ready. There is your power plant. So on a mulligan to 4, the London Mulligan rule is making things look pretty easy here for Mono Green Tron. It is one of the decks that takes advantage of it the absolute best. It's an activation of Relic once again. There goes the Insolent Neonate. Bloodghast and Vengevine still hanging out in the graveyard along with Faithless Looting and Satyr Wayfinder. And a passing of the turn back over to Chris Hafner. Hafner will draw. He's found a swamp. He'll trigger the Bloodghast. How much longer does Harvey want to wait on this Relic? He's going to let this come back.
Well, the Bloodghast was good enough to force an action there. I think we would have seen the Relic used earlier here.
Mm-hmm.
I think Harvey's got bigger aspirations about what he's trying to cut off.
Well, he's going to cut off the Vengevine. So Gravecrawler number 2 is going to stop the Vengevine. Is going to actually spark the Relic. The Relic will stop the Vengevine. Dom will draw a card after removing the graveyards. Now he's got to contend with those 2/1s. He'll play a Blast Zone. Blast Zone will enter the battlefield with 1 counter on it. And now it'll be a Karn. Elevator's going to go up on the 7-mana Planeswalker. 10 loyalty counters, there's a Chromatic Star, and we're going to head back over to Hafner, who's picked up a copy of Lightning Axe to go along with his Assassin's Trophy.
Which he cannot cast.
Correct. He'll attack Harvey for 6. Harvey should fall down to 14. You see the life totals here updated, 14 to 17 in favor of Hafner right now. Things have changed. Things have changed. Yeah.
Tap out.
Yeah. Things have changed quite a bit. Ugin, the Spirit Dragon, is going to wrap this one up very quickly. And on a mulligan to 4, ladies and gentlemen, Dominic Harvey wins that one running away over Chris Hafner. Mono Green Tron very quickly up a game over Hogak as we go to the sideboards. And we will take a look at Hafner's first in his 4 Leyline of the Voids, 3 Thoughtseize, 2 Rotting Regisaur, 2 Force of Vigor, 2 Assassin's Trophy, and 2 Fatal Push. What do we like here against Tron?
The Assassin's Trophies and the Thoughtseizes. There might be enough artifacts alongside of the Leyline of the Voids and Dominic Harvey sideboard to justify the Force of Vigor as well, but some discard to take away Harvey's key cards, along with Assassin's Trophy to break up either the payoffs or Harvey's ability to get to Tron in the first place.
Other side of things here for Dom, very quickly up a game he is. You see those 4 Leyline of the Voids. I'd be shocked if those don't come in. Then you see 3 Nature's Claims, 3 Veil of Summer, 2 Dismember, 2 Thragtusk, and an Emrakul, the Promised End.
Pretty easy. 4 copies of Leyline of the Void. The end.
Yeah, not much else you need to bring in this matchup. I think maybe you can make an argument for Emrakul and or Thragtusk. I would be willing to entertain the conversation, but I don't think he needs to change a ton.
I think the issue that I have with Thragtusk is I like it in matchups, one, where your opponent's attacking you on sort of more normal terms. Think of a deck like Humans. And the other is Thragtusk is a fine backup plan to have in matchups where you expect your Tron to get broken up. That's not really the case here. Hafner does have some copies of Assassin's Trophy, but by and large, Harvey's going to be able to get to Tron. And I think in those kind of matchups, you're better served just playing your really powerful 7s and 8s than trying to hedge with cards that sort of suggest you don't expect to have Tron every single game.
Well, game number 2 is about to be underway here in just a moment, folks. Let's talk about the Season 2 schedule one last time here this weekend because we want to see you on the SCG Tour. You see SCG Pittsburgh that started and happened June 29th and the 30th. Dominic Harvey won that tournament alongside young Johnny Hobbs and Jeremy Bertarioni. SCG Worcester, that was won by Erin Barish, which is why she's got that nice lead here in Season 2 of the SCG Tour, though Dom is looking to run her down and take the lead. And then SCG Philly last weekend, we saw Shaheen Sarani, Corey Baumeister, and Peter Ingram hoist the titles there. We're very close to figuring out who's going to win here. And then only one tournament in the month of August. But it's a good one, SCG Richmond.
And after that, we'll head to Dallas for Modern Open. In September will be our one Legacy Open of Season 2. That will be in Syracuse, New York. October, full slate with Philadelphia, the team constructed to start off the month. Then Indianapolis, the regional championships, and a Modern Open in Atlanta to round out the month. November, December, one event apiece, but they're the big ones. SCG-Con Winter featuring the Star City Games Invitational. That's November 14th through the 17th. And then to cap off the year, the Players' Championship, December 13th through the 15th.
We take a look at our playmats here for our players one more time here this weekend's Captain's Quarters, illustrated by Titus Lunters for our Standard Open and Classic players. For our Modern Open and Classic players, here's looking at you, John Avon, with a little Aurora's Light action. Everyone who came to this Open this weekend got one of these as part of registering for the tournament. And for our Legacy Open and Classic players, it'll be Ripped from Reality by Mark Teeden. These playmats are free and exclusive with entry into any Open, Classic, Infinite Challenge, or Sealed Spectacular package. Go to StarCityGames.com/schedule for more information. Game number 2 about to be underway here between Dominic Harvey and Chris Hafner. We learn more about the player on the left and Dom Harvey. No headband in that picture. We'll have to get an updated one, I'm sure, for the member of Team Nova. 26 years of age, currently residing in Toronto, Ontario. Played no Opens last year. Wasn't on the SCG Tour until this year, and he is certainly making the most of it. Open top 8s. This is number 4 here this week, and we'll update that graphic in time for Richmond. And Open wins, well, we might have to update that one too when all's said and done, as he's currently up a game over the GAC attack.
3 this early in the year would be, I mean, 3 in one season's pretty impressive regardless. But
Pretty good.
to be able to do it this much time left in the season with the opportunity to potentially add to that, that's quite the feat. Have we ever had 4 Open wins in a year?
I don't think so, man. I really don't think so. I have to check with Nick Miller, our statistician, but I don't think so. Dom's working himself into rarefied air on his first year on the SCG Tour. We're happy to have him. He's a pretty cool kid and a pretty darn good Magic player, too. And it looks like he made a good deck choice here this weekend with mono green Tron. But Chris Hafner's no slouch. He was our lone undefeated player here this weekend after day number 1 of competition, right on top of the standings with Hogak. He's played some very, very good Magic. We'll see if he can get the job done here again, tie things up. Don't forget, after this is, of course, our finals. We'll be crowning a champion. They'll get to hang out with Nick Miller in the feature match area.
I wonder how he had that headband on call.
Which one?
Dominic Harvey.
It's like part of a Team Nova thing. A lot of them wear it. I think they pass it around or something.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Looks like Hafner is going to take a mulligan. Something that is somewhat common for these decks. So while they work on finding some opening hands that they're happy with, let's talk about what these players are playing for. They're all walking out of here, these 4 players, with at least $1,000 and 20 SCG points, and an invite to our Season 2 Invitational at SCGCON Winter at the Berglund Center in Roanoke, Virginia. Winner of this match, and move on, at least walk out of here with $2,000. It's a pretty important match for both of these players. All 4 of them, really. And the winner, though, makes it out of the Greater Columbus Convention Center doing pretty well for themselves with $5,000, 30 SCG points, 1 step closer to qualifying for the StarCityGames.com Players Championship and an invite to that Season 2 Invitational at SCGCON Winter, which more details will be announced a little bit later this year. You'll be there.
I will be there.
I know it.
Get the Players Championship, too.
That's right.
Or at least SCG has already bought my flights, so it would be a pain for them to reschedule it.
Yeah. So you'll be there. You'll be there.
And if they cancel on me, I think as a content creator for Star City Games,
yes,
I'm qualified for the Invitational.
That's true.
So I could rain hell on these people.
Expedition map will be thought seized. Harvey's starting things off with a ley line.
I don't want to get too far ahead of myself.
No, I don't think. 1 step at a time. Back to Hafner we go. Gemstone Mine the draw. He'll play a Gemstone Mine. 3 mining counters on the land, of course. You can remove a mining counter to add any color of mana. Once the mining counters are gone, the land is gone too. Harvey had a draw that was going to allow him to get to Tron via the Expedition map, but that got thought seized away. So it'll just be a chromatic star here for Dom. He's thinking about maybe cashing in the star right now for some mana, but he's going to hold tight. And so now here comes an Assassin's Trophy to take care of the ley line. So Dom gets to search up a forest, but now Chris is unlocked, as it were. Though he doesn't have a lot of material to work with, given the mulligan to 5.
Yeah, I think just a Blood Gas and a Faithless Looting as the leftovers here.
Well, we have seen Faithless, Stitcher's Supplier now.
Here we go.
So,
Here we go.
Here we go indeed.
Here we go.
Things can change very quickly with 1 draw step. He's going to get to see a couple more cards. There goes Force of Vigor and a Bloodghast. Now, here comes Stitcher Supplier. Yeah, I bet he's going to reveal Hogak, isn't he? Nope, just a couple of discard spells. Nothing too crazy. Bloodghast will come back.
And now Hafner is hellbent, empty-handed, and at the mercy of Harvey assembling Tron here.
And not that good of a clock on the battlefield either. Dom is going to sacrifice the star for a green mana, leaving his Tron lands available in case he peels a power plant. Looks like he didn't, so he found a Walking Ballista instead that he'll play for just 1. Now, Partia wants to kill that Bloodghast now to prevent Hafner from being able to draw and play a Hogak. There's some appeal there, but killing a Bloodghast is, as we know, very temporary.
Yeah, especially with Hafner having a looting in the graveyard to flashback. You know, you can easily imagine that you looting, discard a Hogak, and keep a land to be able to get the Bloodghast back anyway.
Swamp the draw. Here comes the looting with flashback. Got to lose the gemstone mine to do it, but I don't think Chris minds all that much. So, will there be a response from Harvey? Ooh. He's thinking Shooting Stitcher's Supplier. Okay. So, trigger. 1, 2, 3 cards go to the graveyard. Now here's a looting. Draw 1 is a Thoughtseize. Draw 2 is an Overgrown Tomb. So nothing too crazy going on here. I think you might be incentivized to just keep the Thoughtseize. But here comes the Bloodghast.
Really good news so far for Harvey here.
Actually, Hafner kept the Overgrown Tomb.
Yeah.
So you know. Nothing happening there for Dom on the draw step. Overgrown Tomb enters the battlefield tapped. We head back over to Harvey. Harvey passes back right away. There's an attack for 2. You see these players picking up the pace. Now there's a Grave Crawler. Pass the turn back. Harvey will draw this.
Yeah, it looks like Harvey's hand, all payoffs here. I think a couple, maybe 2 copies of Leyline of the Void as well.
Chromatic Star, draw a card. He missed again. We head back over to Hafner. This clock is legit. He's going to start with Stitcher's Supplier. This could yield a Hogak. It does not. There's an attack for 4. Harvey's down to 10. It's a 2-turn clock with what's on the battlefield right now here for Hafner. Harvey needs to find some lands, and preferably in Urza's power plant. He's got access to 4 mana right now. He'll pass the turn back. We're going over to Hafner. Hafner will draw again. Found a copy of Carrion Feeder. He'll deploy the zombie. He'll sacrifice Stitcher's Supplier. It's going to clean this graveyard up a little bit here now. 3 cards coming. Swamp, Bloodstained Mire, Bloodghast. He'll attack here for 4. Still presenting lethal next turn with the 6 on the battlefield. So we head back over to Harvey. Harvey has an Ancient Stirrings. Let's spin the proverbial wheel, shall we? Looking for the power plant from Urza. Oh, now I love a good slow roll. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Mmm.
Do we have a winner?
He's going to take a little bit of a longer look at the hand, but we know it's a hand full of payoffs, and I think we're going to see a power plant here in just a moment. Maybe he's teasing all of us at home. It's a Chromatic Star, so it is not a power plant. Redraw-ish. This costs a lot of his mana to do things this way.
Yeah, he only gets to 5 on this route, and then what can he even do with 5?
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot he can do with 5, unfortunately, so he'll draw a card. Green mana floating. It's rare that you see Tron have such difficulty completing, but it was not able to complete this time. So Chris Hafner dodges a bullet many, many times, and he's able to tie things up here against Dominic Harvey. These two are getting ready for game number 3 to see who is the true master of, what is that, a headband? Sort of. It's a heavy headband.
Deck's got a little less engine post-board, and Harvey was very happy to see that first Leyline of the Void, but the subsequent ones led to a draw that didn't go anywhere fast enough. And he had a lot of time, too, but just couldn't find the third Tron piece for too long.
Just got a message from a mutual friend, Tommy Ashton. He has been playing in some events this weekend on Magic Online with the old Hogak deck. And he just said, I just lost a Game 1 Leyline. Get used to it, pal.
Yeah, that's not even a story.
Yeah, that's a thing that's just going to start happening now. Well, you know, there wasn't that much of that here this weekend. I thought there would have been more. There really wasn't. I know it happened quite a bit at the Mythic Championship in Barcelona this weekend, but I don't know if people are actually going to go to those extremes all that much. It's possible.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's not like it's only about Hogak here. You know, Leyline can be good against Is It Phoenix? other graveyard strategies as well. The prowess decks, with or without Arc-Light Phoenix Leyline's very good against them as well.
There are some times where it might be even okay against Azorius Control because of their reliance on Snapcaster Mage. Who knows?
Yep. Although those decks are also, pivoting more to main deck Rest in Peace.
Of course.
So they're a little less reliant on their graveyard, but sure. Still some moments there.
All right, very quickly, everybody. Let's talk about StarCityGames.com Game Night, the very popular promotion where every week in July, not a lot of time left, unfortunately, you can get sleeves and tokens featuring Down Undead. Now, of course, if you go to StarCityGames.com as well, you can see the entire creature collection that we have built over time. Head over to go.starcitygames.com/game night for more information about Down Undead and where the closest game night to you is. And, of course, stores, you can always sign up by heading over to go.starcitygames.com/game night for more information. You ready for Game 3, partner?
Hit me with it.
The GAC attack.
Yes.
It's almost that time.
Yo, we got updates?
We'll see. I'm going to check in, see if we can get some
updates. We got updates?
I'm checking. All right. Jeez. This boy's pumped up. How the Padres looking today?
They probably have an afternoon game. Sunday afternoon game, I would guess. They typically do. Finish off that home series against the San Francisco Giants. I will be checking here in just a moment. I don't know for sure.
It's 4-4.
Tied at 4.
Yeah. My Indians lost to the Kansas City Royals today. It's tough to do. Not a particularly good baseball team they're fielding there. But I take comfort in knowing that my Indians will finish with a better record than your Padres. That's important to me.
Yep.
Looks like Chris is going to take a mulligan very quickly. So while he does that, we're going to talk about the StarCityGames.com newsletter here very quickly because we do want you to sign up for this bad boy. It's free, which is the best part about it.
Well, it is also your source for Magic the Gathering news. What's inside the newsletter, you may ask? Rhetorically, well, here's an answer. Highlights from some of SCG's best articles, upcoming SCG tour dates and locations. You're looking for some local events like invitational qualifiers and game nights? That's in the newsletter as well. And best of all, signing up is free over at go.starcitygames.com/newsletter. Sign up. Shows up about once a week. News and information.
You're doing a great. You're still selling it. You're still selling it.
You need this.
You do.
You need this.
Good use of need.
Yeah.
It's like water.
Right.
And air and shelter.
You need it.
Necessary.
Right.
And I agree with you. Expedition Map is where Dom Harvey started this game for Chris Hafner. It's a polluted Delta and a Blood Crypt into the very powerful Faithless Looting. 2 cards coming here for Hafner. 2 will be headed to the graveyard. Who uses their graveyard for anything anyway?
Right, it's card disadvantage.
It absolutely is.
Similar to the way that Black Lotus is card disadvantage.
I agree with you once again.
A lot of cheating on mana.
Carrion Feeder and a Hogak are headed to the graveyard.
Gag attack.
That's right.
That's a gag attack.
That's an Urza's Power Plant to go along with an Urza's Mine and Expedition Map. That's the 1-2. Part 3 will be coming shortly. There's a Gemstone Mine. 3 mining counters on that land. See what Hafner can do this turn. Well, Harvey's going to sacrifice and go get a tower. I think we might see an Assassin's Trophy on a land because that can target lands.
Yep.
We can't forget about that.
Yeah, it looks like Hafner decided to break up Tron in lieu of trying to have an explosive Hogak turn.
Now, Patrick, which land are you targeting? The power plant or the mine? You must answer this question.
The mine.
Okay, thank you. We'll see if Chris agrees. He's going to go with the power plant. Rookie mistake. He'll pay for that later. Here's a basic forest.
So that's a mine, the last Tron piece?
The one that's on the battlefield?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not that great because it also looks like a tower.
Yeah, it's old, so You just kind of get used to it after a little while. Don't really ask any questions about that. It could also be a power plant, conceivably. Could just be
it looks a little
one.
rickety for that, but certainly
it could be an old power plant.
Right. It's confusing.
Mm-hmm. After 7 years of coverage, you just kind of know what they are.
Well, that
at least I do.
That isn't necessarily true because I don't.
Because here we are.
Hence the conversation.
I see. Interesting idea from our director.
A pay cut
in our ear, yeah.
Star City already booked my flights, so you're going to want to make good on whatever our previous arrangement was.
Understood. Citrus Supplier is going to mill over a Thoughtseize, a Vengevine, and a Swamp. The first creature for the turn has been played. This is the second in Carrion Feeder. Going to remove a mining counter from the Gemstone Mine to cast it. Is Harvey willing to break the relic now? I'd be surprised if he wasn't.
I mean, this represents a Hogak plus a Vengevine. That's, I mean, if not this, I don't know what you're waiting for.
I think I agree with you. Dismember is going to take care of Citrus Supplier. This is what you're waiting for. You're going to get it all. So Citrus Supplier dies. Bloodstained Mire, Grave Crawler, and a Bloodstained Mire head to the graveyard. And now you crack the relic. You draw a card. You get all the goodies from the graveyard. Polluted Delta is the land for Hafner. We're going to head back Harvey's way. Can he complete the Tron? Couldn't do it last game. He just answered my question about this one. He's on the hunt for the power plant, folks. Sylvan Scrying will allow him to do that. Is the land for the turn going to be the power plant? It will be. Does Harvey have anything else great to do after this? He's still sitting at a very high life total, plenty of cards in hand. His mana engine is online. He can't play one of his enormous threats because he only has access to 5 mana right now. But next turn would be quite a doozy.
And most importantly, just seemingly not under the threat of anything really bad happening next turn.
Mm-hmm. Chromatic Star, and he'll simply pass the turn back over to Hafner. Hafner would like to sacrifice Polluted Delta on the end step. He will do just that. Going to fall down to at least 16. I think we have an Overgrown Tomb coming here in just a moment, assuming he has one left. And there is the Overgrown Tomb. So that on the battlefield tapped. Hafner will shuffle and present over to Harvey. He's going to have one heck of a turn, but this deck is capable of such things. Force of Vigor and Gemstone Mine is the hand. Not great. He'll draw. Bloodstained Mire. Also not great. Gemstone Mine is the land. The attack for 1 there with the Carrion Feeder. Harvey's going to fall down to 15. Harvey's going to sacrifice on the end step that Chromatic Star, and he's going to play Dismember to take care of the feeder. So we're going to head back Harvey's way now. I see an Ulamog in hand. We're going to see a Stirrings to kick things off, though.
So any Tron piece gets him to an Ulamog, or he can just take the Ugin. A lot of good options here.
You love a good option. There's Ugin. And I think he's got quite a few good options. He's going to start at 3 mana. There's a Chromatic Star. He'll sack that for a green. So he has a green mana floating. This is 6 total mana. That's a Wormcoil Engine. And with an Ugin and Ulamog in reserve, and only 1 draw step left to come here for Chris Hafner, Bloodghast is not what the doctor ordered, and that is going to do it. Dominic Harvey's going to win this game and match here over Chris Hafner, 2-1. Mono Green Tron will take care of Hogak. And for the member of Team Nova, it's another finals appearance here on the SCG Tour with the chance to win a 3rd Open this year.
Pretty good recipe there against Hogak on the balance. A lot of ways to threaten the graveyard. A lot of threats that are able to win the game kind of singularly. And Harvey able to cobble it together in games 1 and 3. Hafner able to even overcome Leyline of the Void in the game that he won. But just not enough pressure and disruption blended in the games that he lost. And Harvey moves on to the finals.
Are we thinking this is a good matchup for Mono Green Tron? What are we thinking about?